In today's episode, I'm joined by Trent and Jeni from the Disney DNA podcast.
I only hope that we never lose sight of one thing, that it was all started by a mouse.
You are listening to the Main Street Magic Podcast with your hosts, Jeremy Stein and John Marone.
Today's episode is part 2 of a 2-part series where we are joined by Trent and Jeni from the Disney DNA podcast. And we're talking about planning and preparing for your Walt Disney World vacation. So speaking back again at planning, and you're 60 days out, obviously you're snagging your fast passes for each of the days. If you could each, and we can start with you, Trent, if you want, what is your must-have fast pass for each of the 4 parks?
All right, let's go with my park, Magic Kingdom. For me, the must is, this is a tough one for me because I have 2 attractions that are equally important, and that is Big Thunder Mountain and Haunted Mansion. So if I had to pick between the 2, I would probably go with Haunted Mansion because it's just, it's just iconic, and I love that ride. So we'll say that one. So Epcot. We're gonna get that tier system, so let's do Test Track. That's another one that I love there. Animal Kingdom, we have to get Everest because it's just a long wait. And then let's go to Hollywood. For me, let's just toss up between this one. Let's either Star Tours or let's do Tower of Terror because that one. I usually sometimes rope drop it, but sometimes I might have to just do a fast pass because you just have to because it gets to be a long wait.
We generally rope drop that one, and we generally don't eat a whole lot beforehand.
Right.
That's another tip. Like, if you're going to do Tower of Terror and you don't know how you're going to do on it, just maybe eat a little granola bar, ride it, and then eat your breakfast.
It's not the morning for breakfast buffet when you're
but it's the first thing we go to when we hit Hollywood Studios.
But there's occasionally where we might jump over to Star Tours and kind of knock it out too. But but if I had to pick one, I'd definitely get a fast pass for it. So anyway, Judy.
Okay, so my answers are totally different because
Perfect,
I am going with the ones that are the hardest to get because when I do my planning for fast passes, I've already got my days. I already know when we're going to be eating. So I know what area I need to be in when. And I pick the hardest fast passes to get first.
Yeah.
And then I go from there. So for Magic Kingdom, right now, I'm getting Seven Dwarfs Mine Train first.
Mm-hmm.
For Hollywood Studios, right now, I'm getting Toy Story Midway Mania first. For Epcot, I got, Flight of Passage?
Yeah.
I got Flight of Passage, and this is, with this year, the only thing open was 5:20 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
And I normally do all kind of mid-morning fast passes, but it works out because we're eating at Yak and Yeti at 12-something. And then we can go and wait in line for, the boat ride.
Yeah, the Navi River Journey.
The Navi River Journey. We can wait in line for that, or we could do the disability pass with his dad and go sit down somewhere so we can hit that up, and then we can go ride the Banshee ride.
Yeah.
And then Epcot, I'm actually right now still going for Frozen first because that's still a harder one. Soaring certain times of the day, there's not that bad of a wait. Test Track certain times of the day, the wait's not that bad. So I'm going immediately when I'm making my plans to the hardest one to get in each park.
I knew she was going to say that. 'Cause that's why I had different answers.
That's why I do the planning.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, I can see why. Well, and what we've had great luck with at Epcot is being there for rope drop. I'll get Test Track about 10 a.m. For a fast pass. We'll do rope drop and just book it straight to Soarin'. And often I don't think we've waited more than 15 or 20 minutes. We do Soarin', we'll do Living with the Land, we'll do, Nemo. And by the time we're done all that, we're able to head over to Test Track and do that one at 10 a.m. Occasionally we'll switch up for that Frozen, fast pass because that's still such a tough ticket. And it's an enjoyable ride.
Oh yeah.
But it's still one of
Right.
those, you're still so surprised, I think, by the wait times. I mean, obviously, it's still pretty new as far as rides go, but I can't wait to hear your guys' thoughts of Flight of Passage once you get off of there.
Right.
It's
We're excited
it's one of
for
those
it.
Disney moments I think you'll remember forever. It's pretty incredible.
Yeah. And with the fast passes, I like to plan it to where we are doing like a section of the park at a time.
Yeah.
So I actually plan Frozen. We're eating at Nine Dragons one night,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and I have the fast pass for Frozen like an hour before that particular dining reservation, so that we can work our way to that area. We're not running around the park. We're not wasting time. We can do that. Then we can make it down to Nine Dragons with plenty of time.
Man,
Yeah.
she's so good at
And we're
that.
not,
Yes.
one thing I see people doing, and it drives me nuts because it's like a little more planning and you wouldn't be running around like this,
Right.
is we'll take Magic Kingdom, for instance. They're in Adventureland and then they're running to Futureland and then they're back to Adventureland, and they're just so much back and forth.
Yeah.
They're just wasting so much time and they're getting so exhausted. Like, I'll give you one of our mornings. I generally do a fast pass for Big Thunder Mountain about 10:30. I'll do one for Haunted Mansion about 11:30, and then I'll try to get Enchanted Tales with Belle at 12:30.
Yeah.
And then I'm eating at Pinocchio Village Haas. They have this amazing gluten-free, dairy-free pizza.
Just for her.
Anyway, we'll get there at Rope Drop. We'll go. We'll ride Pirates. We'll do Jungle Cruise. We'll do Magic Carpets Aladdin. We'll do Tiki Room. We'll do Country Bear Jamboree. And we've made it to Big Thunder Mountain for 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
And then between Big Thunder Mountain and Haunted Mansion, we'll knock out a few things. We do Haunted Mansion. Usually we take a little break. Enchanted Tales with Belle. We have lunch. We've knocked out almost a whole side of the park.
Yeah. That's outstanding. So are you, when you're doing this plan, I mean, obviously you have a lot of this, I can tell, in your head, because you're living and breathing this as you plan up to it. But
Yeah,
are you
because
putting
I
all this
literally
on?
have.
Are you putting this on paper? Are you using something like touring plans? What are you doing when you're in the park to know what your plans look like for that day?
I don't really use the app. Trent uses the app, and this year we got touring plans because he wants to see how it is with the wait times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a folder in my bag for maps and for postcards we buy and stuff that we don't want to get bent.
Mhm.
That's another tip. Bring a folder with you if you have a book sack. Things go in there.
Or a park bag.
Or
Yeah,
park
park
bag. But I write the itinerary down for the day on an actual piece of paper, like I
Old
know,
school.
Love it.
old school. I write it down though, and then so I'll have my mornings planned, and then I'll have the fast pass and lunch, and then generally nothing else. Just a list of, if we have time to do these things, these are what we want to do. And as we go through the day, I just kind of check them off. And then in the afternoon, we can see like, oh yeah, we really wanted to ride Peter Pan today. Let's go see what the wait time is, or we want to go do this. So I have it written down. I keep it in my pocket throughout the day, and then at the end of the day, it goes back in the folder with the rest of the days.
Yeah. When I really like that. I mean, I'm drawn to the technology and using, different apps and all, but I like that idea of it having handwritten, and I'm guessing that helps keep you off your phone sometimes too. I mean, we know phones are such a commodity now because of the cameras, and that's what most people are taking their pictures with. But I know for me, it can be easy to maybe pull out my phone and I'm looking at what we're doing next at Disney. But then next thing I know, I'm on Facebook or I'm on Twitter or I'm checking email, and I'm not being present in the moment. So I like that idea of the paper and something that's not going to have you staring at your phone every second.
Well,
Go
and
ahead.
the thing with writing it down is, if we're in line and we say, oh man, we need to remember we saw such and such at this store, or we want to go and try and do this, like I just pull it out real quick. I write it down. For me, I get technology. I'm not great at it. For me, it's an easier way to write it down and process it. I'm more likely to remember.
Sure.
But I also I actually just threw them away. but I had our itineraries from last year's trip still.
Yeah.
Wow.
Just so when I started planning this year's trip, I could kind of compare the days. And surprisingly enough, the mornings are all basically similar.
Yeah.
It's the afternoon where we kind of, open it up to this is what do you want to do? But it helps to have or like the show times, I'll write down, Lion King's at 2:30, 3:30, 4:30. And as we get closer to something, it's all the information is right there.
Yeah. That's a great idea. I love that. So you have that itinerary in your pocket. You've got your folder for keepsakes in your park bag. What else are the must-haves that you're putting in your park bag to make sure that you have a successful day and you're kind of prepared for anything?
Beef jerky.
Yeah.
And my park rain jacket that I bought from the Emporium, because it's Florida, and you get sometimes that afternoon little shower. So I take it out of the pack, put it on, and stay dry, but I love it.
Yeah, here's another thing with us. We keep Ziploc bags, gallon-sized
Yes.
Ziploc bags in our park sacks, so that when we take some, the raincoats out, we can put them back in the Ziploc bags, and nothing gets wet. And then at night when we go to the room, we hang up the coats to dry. Please don't leave your ponchos or whatever; they get nasty.
Yeah.
And we
I can vouch for that.
yeah, we clean out the Ziploc bag, and in the morning everything goes back in. And not just we keep our snacks in a Ziploc bag, so if they open up, they don't fall everywhere. We have first aid stuff in a Ziploc bag. I mean, Ziploc bags, it's crazy when you open our bag, and I have like 4 Ziploc bags of stuff, but it just keeps everything more organized. So we usually do the rain jacket, sunscreen.
Sunscreen.
Yes.
And you
very
apply
important.
every 80 minutes, people.
Definitely.
I'm just saying.
And bring your own. We've been stuck too many times that we just completely forgot it, and we're buying, $16.99 sunscreen inside the park. So
Yes.
you want to pack your own, bring your own for sure.
Definitely.
Yeah, the sunscreen. I always have a small first aid kit with like Tylenol and Band-Aids and alcohol. So I take medication, so I always have that.
And we also bring autograph books for the character meet and
Yeah.
greets.
With the Sharpies, we use the
That-
one
that
that
click.
click because it's easier and it's faster.
Yeah, instead of messing with
And
the top.
Yeah.
Right.
And we always bring a water bottle. Now, I know people in Florida say that y'all's water is good. That's great. That's what you're used to. We are not used to Florida water. So we get the water bottle we got is a Brita brand, $13 at Walmart. It has a filter on it.
Oh, okay.
Dead center down.
So
it's
we
right
always
down the middle.
Yeah, we always have a water bottle with us as well, just to fill up at the water fountains.
Yeah.
Because our park bags have those expandable outside, like little sack areas where you can stretch it out, put the bottle in, and it's secured there, and it's a great
Yeah.
thing to have
This
on
is
your
how
park
bad
bag.
we've gotten. We were looking at book sacks and at Journeys the other day, and Trent wanted one, and I'm like, we can't buy that. It doesn't have
didn't
the
have the
things
outside
for the
pouches,
water.
She hurt
It
my
didn't have
feelings.
the pouches
yeah.
for the water.
I was so down. I was like, oh man, come on.
So we have 2 bags that we bring, and both of them have the pouches for the water.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And we do the same thing. I've turned down many book bags and purchases because they didn't have those little outside pouches. So I know that feeling. We pack the Yeti water bottles that have the screw on top, and we'll bring down a case of water, and keep it in our room. We'll fill it up in the morning, and then we'll take advantage because we're used to the Florida water. So we'll take advantage of the the free ice water that you can get at any quick service instead of paying $3 or $4 for a bottled water.
Exactly.
So those are the must-haves that you're packing in your bag for the park. In addition to snacks that you're bringing in the room, is there anything else that you must have in that room for your week stay? I mean, a week's a long time to be somewhere, and you want it to feel like home. Are there any other items that you guys just have to have in your room to kind of be prepared and feel like you're at home?
We are kind of minimalist packers.
Yeah, yeah.
I actually, every Disney trip, I take a day and I wash some laundry. And it just so happens the class I'm taking this year is on Tuesday nights. So I plan on doing my class from the laundry room. So one thing we always have that makes me feel like I'm at home is laundry detergent.
Mm-hmm.
I always bring. This is gonna sound snobby of me. I always bring a little thing of Febreze to air the rooms out, and I always bring a thing of Lysol and kind of Lysol everything before we
Be, well,
unpack.
because there's been 12,000 other bodies that
Oh,
have
yeah.
laid on that
Yes,
bed,
yes.
and experienced that same room. So,
Yes, yeah.
Sophia always brings a stuffed animal.
Yeah, she
She
does.
sleeps with stuffed animals, so
Uh-huh.
she's allowed to bring one stuffed animal per trip. If not, we'd have like 15 of them with us.
I'm a techie, so I usually bring either an iPad Pro or my MacBook Pro with me just to have. Well, before this year's trip for us, you used to not be able to see your photos on the app, but since the My Disney Experience app has been updated,
Right.
you can see your photos from there. So in the old way, we have to log on to our computer and see what the photos were for that day, and we typically brought that. But this year, I might not bring it because of that.
Yeah. I mean, for the three of us, we bring two park bags and
Hmm.
we'll travel with a few extra things in the park bags. We have one big suitcase and then we have two kind of medium small suitcases, and that's all we pack. And that's including extra shoes and everything.
Minimalists.
Yeah.
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 Well, I pack this is going to sound bratty of me too.
Oh boy.
I pack a certain way, and I have, with all of the moving we've done and things like that, I know how to pack for the four of us, because this will be the first year we have the extra bag. Normally we've just gone in the two bags.
Yeah.
But I know how to pack everything where everything has a place, everything fits. Nothing is going to be wrinkled. We don't have to worry about that. And it just works.
Yeah, no, that's another great tip. Yeah, we're not minimalist when we pack, and we're going down for 2 or 3 days at a time, and I feel like we're packing as much as you guys are for a week.
Yeah.
So we go overboard way too often. I think we're always just afraid we're gonna forget something. So on this upcoming trip, what for each of you? What are a few of the things that you're looking forward to doing most that you have already done in the past? Some of the things that are just traditions for your family. What are those must-dos, be it a show or a certain ride or just enjoying a specific area of the park that you guys are looking forward to?
I'll go first, Jenny. For me, and those who might have caught our podcast, I've talked about this a few times, and this holds a special place in my heart for this. Is going back to when I was a kid, and I hate to always harp on that, but this is all I have in my mind of that memories, and those photos at my parents' house. But experiencing Big Thunder Mountain and Space Mountain with my parents, because like I said, it's been 30 years,
Yeah.
and I cannot wait to ride in that mine cart with my father and experiencing and being that kid all over again and experiencing those emotions and that joy that I remembered as a young kid, and I can't wait to experience that. But I'm also ready to show them things that they haven't seen before. They haven't seen Hollywood Studios, which is still kind of a half day park, but for them it's going to be like, wow, what
Yeah.
is this? You know, and Animal Kingdom. They don't know what these things are. They've seen us talk about it at their house, and describe it to them, and we showed them some YouTube videos, but to actually sit and experience these things, that is what I'm really, really excited for. But just to go back to the old school was, I'm really excited for Thunder and for Space Mountain because those were some of my parents' favorite rides.
Yeah.
And they've even said that we want to ride everything. So I don't know how that's going to work out for us because
I don't know.
they're not old, but they're 70 years young, but it's not like it was 30 years ago or so.
Right.
So we're gonna wait and see, but I know they can handle those for sure. But I'm really, really excited to just pretty much this whole entire trip because it's gonna be something new and something that's been a long time coming.
That's great.
I always really look forward to Enchanted Tales with Belle. Let me tell you, when that mirror becomes a door, I flip out every time. That they got
That is
some
incredible.
wizards working up in there. That is
Yeah.
real magic.
That's Imagineers at its best.
Yeah,
It is,
that is.
yeah.
It is real magic, people. Epcot's my favorite park, so I pretty much look forward to everything in Epcot. The countries, absolutely love
World
the
Showcase.
countries.
Yep.
World Showcase.
Mm-hmm.
Morocco is one of my favorites to
France
spend
is
time
mine.
in.
Yep,
We've
France.
done Pick a Pearl before. I got twin pearls last year. That was pretty cool. So I'm looking forward to that. I really look forward to riding Haunted Mansion with the kids.
Yeah.
That's one of their favorites, and because they get so excited for it, I mean, don't get me wrong, I love Haunted Mansion, but because they get so excited for it, it gets you excited for it.
Yeah, and basically we ride that at least 5 times every trip. So I mean, it's
Really?
one of it's one of our
Yeah,
favorites, and the girls just absolutely love it because there's so many hidden gems on that attraction that we love pointing them out and
Yeah.
say, "Hey, did you see this? Did you see that?" You know, and just it's just something that we do every year. It's great.
yeah,
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 and that's something, of course, that Disney does so well is all those little hidden gems, and whether you're going through a queue or through a ride, one of the things we love is every trip we go, there's still a Disney first, and I'm sure people ask you, hey, you've got a week's vacation every year, why do you go back to the same place? We get asked that all the time. Why do you go to Disney all the time? And it's every time there's an opportunity for something new, whether you've been there 10 times or 100 times. It might be, one time my daughter and I getting to ride in the first, row at Rock and Roller Coaster, or it might be a place we've never eaten before. So I just think that's so cool, and that you guys have those traditions. So out of things that you're looking forward to that you have not done, of course, Pandora has opened since you guys were there last, so I'm guessing some of that's going to fall on your list. What are some new things that maybe you haven't done in the past that you're really looking forward to on this trip?
I actually did not last year get to do Expedition Everest yet, and I did not get to do the Lion King show. So
Festival of Lion King.
yes,
Yeah.
I'm really, really looking forward to that. Now, Trent and Sophia got to do those, but if you've listened to the show last year, Brooklyn got really sick. She passed out. She hit her head. We had to go to the emergency room. She had a small concussion. And so that was a first. So
Yeah. Wow.
first ambulance ride.
Yeah.
But I was really, really looking forward to Animal Kingdom last year because it was going to be our first Expedition Everest ride. We were going to get to see the show and everything. Brooklyn and I didn't get to see it last year, so we are both, her and I are both really looking forward to it this year.
Yeah, that's great.
For me, I mean, I've done a lot there, but I'm really excited. Kind of like what you mentioned, I'm excited for this, for the world of Avatar. But I know this one show really hasn't gotten much love, and I want to see that Rivers of Light. I know it's kind of mixed reviews, and it was a long time coming, and it
Yeah.
was delayed for a while, but I've seen it on like part of it on YouTube. It looks great, but I want to see it and form my own opinion about it, and I like shows, and I that's gonna be one on my list is just to see that and the World of Pandora, of course, but and then also the Happily Ever After nighttime show at Magic Kingdom. That's what I want to see. I've seen the videos, and I mean, it doesn't do it justice,
Yeah.
and another thing too is for those who listen to our show is our intro music is the old Welcome show that we used to have at Magic Kingdom, and that is what's funny is I took that song and that was what I wrapped the whole podcast around was I'm gonna do a show off that one track, but I missed the show. But there's a new one now at the castle, and I want to see what that's like, because haven't seen it yet. Because last year we got to see the Welcome show, and we didn't know it was leaving because that was kind of that happened a few months after we got back. But there's a few shows that I want to see, but experiencing Pandora is high on my list.
Yeah, yeah, you'll love it, and it goes without saying, and I'm sure it's already been planned by Jenny to check it out at night as well, and
Yes.
see everything
Yeah.
lit up. But it's pretty incredible. So we've covered a lot, and I want to kind of ending the show with a little rapid fire questions for you guys.
Okay.
So we already talked, and you guys can just go back and forth. We already talked your favorite parks, and we know, Trent, you love Magic Kingdom, and Jenny, you love Epcot. So I'll skip over that one. But if you could only pick one ride out of all 4 parks, and I think I may already know your answer for this too from our conversation, but what is the one ride that you would pick out of all 4 parks as your absolute favorite?
Pirates of the Caribbean.
Haunted Mansion.
Okay. Favorite show out of all 4 parks?
Oh, this is hard. Well, I have seen Lion King on YouTube, and I love that, but I haven't seen it in person yet.
Rapid fire, Jenny.
Well, you answer while I think.
I'll go. Well, you said my answer. Mine actually, by seeing Festival of the Lion King, is absolutely awesome.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite shows so far. Until we go this year to see, it might get changed, but as of right now, that's my final answer.
I'm going with Fantasmic.
Another great show.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, for sure. All right. So, favorite quick service restaurant?
Pinocchio Village Haas, the gluten-free, dairy-free pizza that I mentioned. You just can't go wrong there.
Oh, for me, quick service. Oh, wow.
I can already tell you what I'm ordering.
Yeah, that's it.
Of course, I'm a lot more limited than the rest of the world.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, favorite quick service. I don't know. Oh, this is a tough one. I mean, I like that one too. So what about? I have to go with, and she hates this place, but I like.
I hate this place.
I love my favorite performer is Sunny Eclipse. So you know where I'm going to be eating that. You know.
There you go.
Their food is the same as like everywhere else.
But
it's not.
But he's entertaining. You know.
And there's a little saving grace with the toppings bar. My parents are such creatures of habit. So anytime we would go to Disney with them, it was guaranteed we were eating there for lunch. So we used to just try and get inventive with their toppings bar and try and turn that plain chicken sandwich or hamburger into something
right.
that was much better. So
yeah.
But they're also, they've expanded that area, so I want to see what they've done with the place, you know. So
yeah.
I will meet up with him after lunch. No, you know what comes in a close second, which really surprised me last year? We ate at the American Adventure, the Liberty Tree Inn.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And all 4 of us, I know it's just your typical park food, but it was your typical park food, like made better. I don't know. All
But
4 of
great.
us really enjoyed there.
So then what would your favorite overall table service be?
Marrakesh, Restaurant Marrakesh.
Okay.
For me, Be Our Guest dinner. I just love that. I love the atmosphere. The food's wonderful, and I love taking pictures with Beast.
Oh, there you go. And then I know the answer to this, but our listeners won't. Favorite resort?
Port Orleans Riverside and the Royal Rooms.
That is my answer too,
Yeah,
because you know why? It's home away from home.
And
You know what?
I think
If
that's
you-
what I found so funny was that you had that home away from home. So, you're going from Louisiana to Louisiana in a sense, as opposed to picking something that you're not used to, which I just found very, very interesting as your favorite resort.
Right. And if you've heard us talk about, we're not that fond of the Port Orleans French Quarter.
Yeah.
And the reason for this is we are an hour from the real French Quarter.
Yeah, from the real New Orleans.
And when I am at Disney and I see the decorations, it's just basically Mardi Gras everywhere. It's like that's not New Orleans. That's not the French Quarter. That is a very small portion of the culture, and that just irritates me to no end. We're going to give it a try one day because I feel like we need to give it an honest try. But as of right now, I wish when the Imagineers had went to New Orleans and studied the French Quarter that they had brought back more than just Mardi Gras.
But also, Walt actually loved New Orleans and was thinking about at one time bringing the parks down here to Louisiana a long time ago before it went to Florida. But that's another show, But but for me, French Quarter, just like she said, not a big fan. But if we stay there, we get to knock out all of the moderates finally. We've been kind of trying to get through all of those, So it's kind of one of those bucket list things to kind of achieve, But maybe sometime.
But, I mean, I feel like we need to give it an honest try, just like we did with the Art of Animation. Again, another story.
Yeah.
But
That's a whole nother
that's the
podcast.
thing. The French Quarter, if you are from here or visit it, you're going to see that it's so much more than Mardi Gras, and I really wish that they had captured more of that.
Yeah.
And real quick, just Riverside, to me, the the people behind the making of that. I mean, all those that design that place it's spot on. I mean, from all the flowers to the buildings, and that's what makes it for us. It feels homey. So
Yeah.
when we like to
Right.
travel, we like to have that peace of mind of that comfort zone, of
Yeah.
feeling that we're at home, but we're not there. So, and those royal rooms are a must
Yeah.
because they're right there by the bus stops. I mean, you're a 5 minute walk. You go across the bridge, and you're there, and it's some of the best rooms, and then the decorations are incredible.
Yeah. Well, and it's so funny you say that about French Quarter because I just imagine they took what my thought of the French Quarter is, and that's what they made it because I've never been there. So I walk through there thinking, oh, this must be what it looks like. And so
Now-
it's so funny to hear that from you. And it's so interesting that they kind of just took, it's almost the stereotype that they
It
took
is.
from Mardi Gras and just said, this is what we're going to put because most people probably won't know any better.
Yes.
Exactly. That's exactly right.
I'm going with yes on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you're at Port Orleans, are you spending one evening checking out Yeehaw Bob? Have you seen him play down at the I can't remember what it's called. It's something the Roost. It's like the lounge area.
Yeah, we haven't yet. When we stayed there, the girls were still a little young for staying up kind of later when he started playing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we were always, getting them in bed. Because again, we know our kids and we know that if they stay up late at night, it's not going to work the next
Yeah.
day
Oh, for
how we
sure.
want it to.
They're grouches in the morning if they don't get their
Yeah.
their beauty rest.
He's on our list though. We've heard really great things about him. We've seen some of his shows on YouTube.
Yeah,
He's on our list.
Yeah.
definitely.
And if you do get that possible evening out, Trent, while your parents watch the kids, if you get an opportunity to be over at the boardwalk area, Jelly Rolls is incredible. We finally just did that not too long ago, and that was some of the best entertainment I think in all of Disney. And final rapid fire question: your favorite resort pool?
Resort pool. This is gonna be kind of funny because
We've
we
never been in the resort
we
pool.
don't do the pool.
Yeah.
So if I had to pick one,
That's true.
The theming to me would be from Art of Animation because they have the underwater speakers for the kids, so you can go underwater and hear the cool music. But other than that, that's all I got.
I'm going with the quiet pools at Port Orleans Riverside. I don't like to swim. I don't like to be in the water. So if I'm going to get in the water, I do not want to be in the water with people like splashing me
Yeah.
and stuff. I want it to be calm and quiet.
Yeah, nice and
Right.
relaxing. Yeah. Well, listen,
Yeah,
this has been outstanding. You guys have so much great, useful info. Let everybody know where they can find you, where they can find your podcast, your social media outlets, and learn more about your show. Because I would highly recommend you just bulk listen to so many of your episodes, especially if you have an upcoming Disney World trip, because they're so full of great information. So just let everybody know where they can find you.
Okay. You can find us a whole bunch of ways. I'm going to start off with the website. You just go to DisneyDNApodcast.com. We are in all of the social media things like Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
And just so you know, Trent is the one who is answering Twitter.
yeah, she
And
she doesn't do the old tweets. I do the
yeah,
tweets.
I don't know how to do Twitter. I don't know how to do Twitter because people think sometimes that it's both of us, but it's mainly just Trent. Because like I said, I understand technology. I just don't know how to use it very well. So he does a lot of the social media side of it.
And then to listen to the podcast, we're in all the major ones from YouTube, Stitcher, Google Play, iTunes, and if you have an Apple phone, you have the podcast app, and we're in Overcast, iHeartRadio. We're in all those. So if you go to our site, it has all of the links to get you there, and we would love it if you subscribe and give us a listen.
Well, thank you guys again so much for being on the show. This has been outstanding. Love talking to you guys. Very excited to see what you have coming up and hear about your trip review after you guys head down there over the Thanksgiving break. That's all I've got for now, and we'll see you real soon.